to the 2 Point Conversion Monday show. And you know what? I've just decided that if we ever do it on time, the show's gonna suck. So don't expect it to be like exactly at 8 o'clock because time is relative, I think. So welcome to the 2 Point Conversion Scott Fishbowl giveaway. Let me do a couple of housekeeping before we start in and before our lovely esteemed panel is introducing themselves. If you're on Twitter and you want part of the giveaway, what you're gonna have to do is, Jay is having trouble with Twitter, so either Zach or me, you're gonna have to DM us, put it in the direct message because we don't get Twitter, we don't get the Twitter chat at all on this platform. If you're on if you're on Twitter, just like and then DM us your Twitter handle and tell us that you did it, and then we'll try to get you into the Scott Fishbowl hat-orama. What is happening? And what we're going to do is everyone who wants in, who needs to be in, we're going to put your name in a hat, and then maybe my dog will pick it out, or I'll pick it out. We'll just pick out a name, and I think that's the easiest one. What's up, Eric? Zach does do every show.
I was on the last one, yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Um, so if you're on Twitch, you can do it. If you're on Facebook Live, you can do it. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and like, and then just in the chat, give us your name, and you'll be on. Okay? Okay. Sounds good. I am Gladys Tyler at Gladys L. Tyler. And then we have, who do we have here? In the lovely pink shirt. You're wearing it well, sir.
Thank you. I'm Jay at JBank727 on Twitter, although I am having issues with the Elon Musk machine right now.
I think it's personal. I think it's highly personal.
Must be.
I think he's doing it on purpose. And then we have the often traveled Zach. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Always glad to be on another Going for Two live show. I guess I'm on all of them.
No, thank you for being on. Which reminds me, if you subscribe to the Going for Two channel, you will get Eric Johnson in the Devil's Advocate, who will be debating about different players. You also get the TFS Doc at TFS Doc, who is an actual doctor. He is an actual doctor, and he will tell you, like the last episode I saw of him was Dalvin Cook, whether you should have him or not, because it'll let you know what kind of injuries. And he also has, oh yes, this wonderful book out that you can get on Amazon.com, and it tells you about injuries. Or you can just DM him too. Ask, and I'm sure I'll be happy to help you with any injury
Awesome.
questions. I know.
Was that the show that had the debate on whether or not Nick Chubb was still
Yeah,
Yep.
Devil's Advocate.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so I got that one today. I got to look at that one today. I meant to get into that one today. That looks pretty interesting.
My Devontae Adams one went up today as well for the Devil's Advocate.
Oh,
Who
sweet.
were you against? Who were you debating against? Or was it just you?
Let's see. My debate was Christian McCaffrey and Ezekiel Elliott, and then my Devil's Advocate one itself was Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. Yeah. Okay. So we can get into that, but first, I know that Jay is like chomping at the bit to talk about Game 2 in the NBA playoffs. So let's start with the NBA playoffs. Jay,
I don't know if I'm chomping at the bits as much
what?
as I'm sitting there watching this series, and I don't know which way I'm going with it. I originally picked the Warriors to win the championship, but here's the irony. I think that after the butt kicking that the Celtics took last night, I actually am worried about the Warriors, though. I think I'm worried about the Warriors. And I know that sounds weird, but I just think that the way that they had to win that game, I mean, we know the Warriors do that, right? They go on those big runs, third quarter run. They had a 35-point third quarter, plus 21 advantage over the Celtics, opened up a game. I think it was a 2-point game at halftime. Ended up being down by 23 at the start of the fourth quarter. But you had the Boston Celtics, right? Marcus Smart, 1 for 6, 2 points. Al Horford, 1 for 4, 2 points. Robert Williams, 1 for 1, 2 points. Jaylen Brown started off like he was on fire, right? Went off. He had like 12 points of his 17 in the first quarter, and then the Celtics just went like ice cold. And then they just started, the Warriors sped up the game a little bit on them, got the Celtics into turnovers. The Warriors created 33 points off of turnovers, which I think was second most in the finals in the last 25 years. And I just don't think that path to winning a game is sustainable when we haven't seen either team really, really play well. I think that when you have both teams are kind of struggling to get going, but both teams have had these big runs, right? In game one, you had this gigantic run. In game two, you had the gigantic run by the Warriors. And I just think that when you get it down to it, it's going to come down to which team is actually better, not just having the best player. And I think that the Celtics are more poised to win this game. They're going to go back to Boston, tie 1-1. And I think that I don't think the Warriors are going to be able to get a 16-2 run to start the third quarter. Although I will say that that's got to be the easiest bet in all of sports, right? Anywhere where you can take that bet, take the Warriors to win the third quarter.
So wait, so you said you think it's going to come down to whatever team you think is best. So you're saying you think Boston Celtics as a whole are a better team than the Warriors?
Yes. I think the Celtics have a better team than the Warriors because you got to take Klay Thompson does not look like himself to me. He seems to kind of be a shell of himself right now. They're going to get the mix and match. They'll have a game where Jordan Poole steps up like he did last night. Shout out to that 3-point half court heave. It was absolutely amazing. But I think that at the end of the day, right, where we haven't seen either team really put together 4 quarters of basketball. I think that when that happens, that's going to favor the Celtics. And I think that that's going to happen in game 3 and game 4. And I think that the Celtics are now going to win the series in 7.
Zach, what do you think?
I agree with some of it, but I disagree overall. I picked the Warriors pre-series to win it, and I feel better about it now. I mean, yes, it was a large run to start the third, and the Warriors are notoriously a third quarter team.
Yeah.
But realistically, Poole didn't shoot that great. He wasn't having a great game. He had that hot streak in the third on that run, but that was about it. And otherwise, Steph Curry didn't shoot phenomenal, 9 for 21. Klay Thompson hasn't been the same. But I look at Klay, every series so far this playoffs, he's had one game where he just goes off. In that game, the Warriors are going to win. Every time he's had that one game where he blows up, the Warriors have won. And I expect Steph Curry to have one of those games where he's putting up 40 or 50 and he's just shooting lights out. And that's where, while I think the Celtics are a more talented roster as a whole, they look really banged up. Robert Williams doesn't look the same as he did during the regular season. And each round, you can tell it's just taking more of a toll on him, and those injuries are lingering. Same goes for Marcus Smart. But overall, game 2 was not pretty on either side when you're talking about shooting efficiencies or really an awesome game on either side. But I like what I've seen from the Warriors in regards to some of their adjustments going from game 1 to game 2. And while I have been impressed with Udoku as the head coach, I still am going to take Kerr every time, and I trust that Kerr will get the job done in the end. I think that the finals experience will pay off.
So
Yeah,
let's go.
that's the big X factor there is the finals experience that the Warriors have. You're wondering if the Celtics are going to grow up in time enough to get the series. And the Warriors, their offensive ball movement, right? So the Celtics got in trouble with that little zone defense that they were trying to run there, and the Warriors were just lighting that up. But I don't know, man. I think that we both agree that Klay Thompson has to have a game at some point, and I've been watching him, and I just don't know that he has it in him.
I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast that came out today, and Ryan Russillo on that made a good point. Regardless of how good or bad Clay is shooting throughout this series, he's never a shooter that they're just going to be like, all right, we can just let him shoot and we're not going to guard him. They're always going to have a man on him. And realistically, it's it's tough to see a realm where, even Wiggins, that's a guy I could see having a big scoring night at some point. I'm not confident in the supporting cast. So, I mean, White, for Boston. I mean, otherwise, Grant Williams hasn't looked the same. Pritchard, I don't trust those guys to be able to step up. And like I said, Marcus Smart just looks hurt. So if Brown and Tatum aren't the two, I don't know where else the help's coming from. And that's where, I don't trust all of the guys on the Warriors, but it seems like they can consistently get something from someone else when they need it.
All right, Jay, who has the best coach of those two? Which coach would you trust the most?
Which coach do I trust the most is going to be Steve Kerr, just
And
because we've been there, done that, seen that. Um, I like I can't pronounce his name.
I struggled. Yeah.
I like him, with the Boston Celtics. I just think that he's a young coach. The Celtics are a young coach. And it's going to be, to me, it's going to be determined on whether or not the Celtics can grow up in between game 2 and 3. Can they grow up and they win game 3? The Warriors are, we talked about this before. The Warriors put a lot of pressure on teams with how they play ball. They sped up the pace on the
yeah,
Celtics, so they got caught up in that a little bit as well. Um, but I do think that Kerr is the best coach. But I think that the Celtics have the better overall team.
Zach, you said you thought Kerr was the best coach, right?
Yeah, and I agree with the overall team aspect. I just think the injuries are hampering
Who has
it.
the better
Starting to
bench?
mount up.
Who has the better bench? Zach.
I got to go with the Warriors there right now because Grant Williams isn't looking like this is a series for him. I mean, he was really crucial in the Miami and the Milwaukee series, but now he's not really contributing the same way. I don't see it being Pritchard or Naismith, one of those guys stepping up as a reliable guard option. And the Warriors have plenty of guys that can put points up. Their questions are defensively, but realistically, if everyone's hurting and it's just Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum all the time, it's going to be hard to win. I mean, it reminds me of Milwaukee against Boston when all these take away some of these miles that Boston has. They had all these guys they could go to when Milwaukee only had Drew and Giannis, and that's where they were outmatched. And I guess that's where I'm looking at Warriors with the upper hand over Boston.
Jay, better bench.
Oh, I kind of want to lean the. I do want to lean the Warriors just because I really think that Jordan, the players that the Warriors are bringing off have grown up a lot. The Warriors definitely benefited from a couple of injuries. We talked about that before, where they got these players and now they're kind of growing. I was happy to see Gary Payton back in the game. I think that if he's going to be able to play, he's going to be a difference maker on the defensive side of the ball as well. Jordan Poole, Toscano Anderson, those guys can all get it done for the Warriors. But I just think that it's Klay Thompson. It's Klay Thompson. If I see Klay Thompson, then I think that the Warriors are definitely going to get that series. It may be a gentleman's sweep if we see Klay Thompson over the next 2 games. But I think overall it's the Celtics. I hate to say that too. As a Laker fan, that kills me.
Okay, but so far, the Warriors have the better bench. The Warriors have the better coach. The Celtics have what then? That is
The
making you
Celtics
pick.
have a better. I think the Celtics have an overall better team, like a better starting lineup. They're a better defensive team. They can create problems that the Warriors can't really match up, like with Horford down there and things like that. Jason Tatum is unguardable by anybody on the Warriors.
I think
So
they have a lot of guys that are two-way guys as well.
yeah,
Tatum, Brown, Williams, Horford, Smart, they're all relatively productive, if not more, on the offensive end, but they all hold their own on defense. A lot of the Warriors' options, they're these prolific scorers, but they're liabilities on defense. I love Curry. He's awesome. He's smart defensively, but he's not a lockdown defender. Wiggins and Looney are the guys they lean on. Otherwise, Draymond and Gary Payton. But Thompson can't play defense anymore. You see that he's not the same 3-and-D guy that he was a few years ago. Same with Jordan Poole, he's a liability on defense. So there's just some concerns with the guys that they rely on the most to get points are also their biggest concerns on the defensive end of the floor.
So
and
how
kind of
many?
going back to my point with Kerr being a good coach, I like that Kerr had Clay in late in that game just to kind of get him, even though what is he doing in the game? Well, he's trying to get him some shots, trying to get him some little confidence, some rhythm, getting in there. Because if Klay Thompson turns that corner, the Warriors are going to be a different monster, and then it completely flips around.
And like what we mentioned too is that experience the Warriors have. Even if Thompson isn't necessarily hitting his shots and he's not the same defensively, those late game, close, clutch scenarios, he's been to the finals. He's played so many close games where he's not going to make these stupid mistakes where he doesn't identify the off ball. And I he's more trustworthy in those scenarios than someone like Jordan Poole. I know they've put their trust into Jordan Poole and he's been proving it throughout the year and he's growing, but he's still young. Someone like Klay there, he knows where to be, what to do.
So what is your prediction in the series, Zach?
You know, I said 4-1 for the Warriors to win starting off. I think I still kind of see a chance for 4-1, but more than likely 4-2 Warriors win. I have a harder time seeing a gentleman's sweep now. I mean, the game one could be an outlier, and maybe this is just the start of a progression for the Warriors. But like Jay alluded to, we're going to need to see more from guys like Klay Thompson if that were the case.
Jay, what's your prediction?
So I started off before the playoffs. The Warriors, I had them picked 4-1 in this series, but now I think it's going 7, and I think that the Celtics are going to steal that game.
Ooh, all right. Okay, I can live with that maybe. Texas is losing. Zach, sorry, College World Series. It's
College World Series.
yeah, like Texas won the first game, but now it's Oklahoma State or Texas are going to play Oklahoma, which doesn't really matter because Oklahoma's just going to beat the shit out of whoever they play. But
Yeah.
they're just ridiculous on offense. But all right, Zach, what was your first topic that you wanted to do?
The first topic, I mean, I wanted to give a little bit of love to Kendrick's album.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I talked about it last time with you guys. Did either of you give it a gander?
I did not give it.
Okay. Well,
You go
I
ahead,
don't think it disappointed. You know, it's not necessarily an album full of songs that you'll hear at bars or clubs or on the radio on repeat, but I did appreciate all the stories he told. It's not an album where it's one story through 16 different mini episodes. It's 16 different stories. But there's a lot of deeper messages, a lot of specific things he's struggled with. And I really appreciated a lot of the individual messages and just the poetic nature of his raps. I mean, I always like how he's so smooth with his words and how he can paint this larger narrative to a good flow.
Didn't he win a Pulitzer? Or
I believe so, yeah.
yeah, for one of his albums. So his storytelling is pretty much what he does. Like the only time I've ever heard Kendrick like popular, so to speak, like at a club or on the radio is from the soundtrack of Black Panther. Like the song down in there. I've never heard like an album that he's done. I just don't think that's where he goes. He doesn't.
Yeah. I think there was a couple like Good Kid, Mad City. That one had like Mad City was one that was commonly played, but then Damn had Loyalty and DNA. I know those ones were popular, you know, at sports venues and that kind of stuff. But this album doesn't contain those types of songs necessarily. Nothing like what I talked about with you guys, where I'm gonna be blaring it in my car or anything like that. But it's a lot of stuff where I enjoy listening to it on repeat and just kind of hearing the story be painted.
He does.
Well, I got a road trip. The wife and I are going to be celebrating the 10-year anniversary this week.
Oh, congratulations!
So congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna when she eventually falls asleep, I'm gonna throw some Kendrick on there and
check it out.
Let
me know what you think.
I may even have to rent a minivan just for you, Zach, and do that.
No, it's a good album. I think as long as you're not expecting anything that you're really jamming along to and you're just listening for more poetic raps. I mean that's what Kendrick does anyway, but I appreciated a lot of it. And there's so many different subjects he covers, from like father issues and not really having a dad that's there, to an aunt who's transgender, to a domestic or like a emotionally abusive relationship where it's this female rapper he has featured on it, where it's essentially a dialogue of them fighting, but it fits a beat and it's telling a story. There's so many different social issues that he shines light on the album that are interesting to listen to, and definitely have deeper meaning than just another rap song.
I like Kendrick. I believe it. Hey, Jay, where are you guys going?
Vegas.
You're gonna drive to Vegas? Is it not
Yeah.
that far?
I live in Los Angeles. That's
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting you're.
yeah, that's
Oh.
a 5-hour drive. It'll turn into a 4-hour drive when the wife goes to sleep.
Well, congratulations on your 10-year anniversary, which is
Yeah.
a shit ton time. That's a long time. Sorry. I mean that's commendable. It's just I could not imagine being with the same person for 10 years.
Yeah. And she does not like football, does not understand fantasy football.
Does she like any sport?
Every time I have a fantasy football draft, she's like, another one of those?
Does she like any sports?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's
Sounds
not
like my girlfriend.
Yeah, she's not a sports girl at all. So typically, this is what ends up happening, Gladys. I end up, sending her to lots of massages and stuff like that when it's football season.
No.
That's awesome. Okay. I guess it's different because I'm a girl, but like I don't know if I could date a guy that didn't like sports.
Yeah.
Because she likes sports.
Right.
I always thought that my future significant other, it would be a requirement that they'd have to be super into, or like a big thing I'm looking for is that they're really into sports. But
Right.
I found that I enjoy it more that she doesn't care, like
Right.
when the Bucks lose game 7, she's not over here shit talking me when I'm already down bad about it. I don't need
Exactly.
anyone rubbing it in. And like I mean, she'll, for example, the Bucks, when they won the title last year, she was at home for game 6, but she still watched. She turned it on because she knew I was sweating bullets over here on my couch. But otherwise, it's kind of nice to, once I turn off the computer, I don't have someone else asking me about who I should take in this draft or what trades they're getting. It's kind of nice to turn it off.
She was like yesterday, like I held this whole big thing when I get into like a major game that I want to watch. So,
Right.
I made tacos and had some, buddy over. And she was like, man, you're like getting into the mode. She was like, you want me to sit down and watch the game with you? I'm like, negative.
I always just put something else on. Or
that's nice though. She offered. That's pretty cool. What's up, Sons of Dynasty?
What's up?
Okay, so I wanted to talk about specifically, which is like actually helping me on an article I'm writing, but we'll just like put that aside. But mock drafts. So mock drafts we're getting ADPs now. Kyler Murray's number 5. He's in the top 5 in like Fantasy Pros ADP and Fantasy Football Calculator ADP. I think that's incredibly high for someone who's going to be without DeAndre Hopkins, for someone who we know is going to fold towards the end of the season, even when DeAndre Hopkins comes back. And they're lost Christian Kirk, but they got Hollywood Brown. But Hollywood Brown, I understand that him and Kyler played together and they were really good in Oklahoma. But that was college. And I understand that everyone's going on the model of Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow now because they were so good together. Now they're really good together on the field. Kyler Murray isn't Joe Burrow, and Hollywood Brown isn't Jamar Chase. So I was wondering what you guys think of Kyler Murray being number 5, like being that high. Like he's ahead of Brady, he's ahead of Rodgers. He's I don't think he's ahead of Lamar Jackson, which in itself is another story.
Super flex.
No, it's regular draft, 12-team PPR.
Regular draft. So he's going
And
5
one
overall.
One quarterback.
One
He's going
quarter.
fifth quarterback, not 5 overall, but the 5th quarterback.
Oh, the 5th quarterback. Okay, let me see.
So it's Josh Allen,
Right,
Patrick
Josh
Mahomes,
Allen.
Justin Herbert,
Great.
and then Lamar is the 4th.
In one it's Lamar, and the other one it
Burrow.
is Burrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and then Kyler Murray.
I don't hate it at that point. At 5, once we start talking about the quarterbacks,
Right. I think it was so Allen was going in the first quarterback was going in the round 2. So Allen went in round 2, Mahomes went in round 3. The next 2 both went in round 4. And then he went in round 5. So he went in round 5 too.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think that's way too high.
I think it depends on the scoring format as well, because if it's passing QBs, a passing touchdown, it's 4 points, interceptions are 2, but the rushing yards and rushing touchdowns are 6 points. Then there's definitely upside to pursue those guys like Kyler, like Lamar, that run more, and I can see the upside there. But in most of the leagues I'm in, it's actually 6 points for passing touchdowns, and at that point,
they still have those?
I think it's becoming more common again, actually.
Really?
What are yours? How much do you get for a passing touchdown?
4, probably. Yeah.
4?
But with 4,
6 points. I've never 6 points for a passing touchdown, 2 points, minus 2 points for an interception, and the yards run is the same as if they were running back. It's not a quarterback driven. So for every 100 yards, you get 2. He did have like 5 rushing touchdowns last year, but still,
that's hard. That's hard for Kyler Murray to duplicate. He does call his own number, but I don't know about 5 rushing. So the question becomes, Gladys, who would you have above him? Is it Lamar Jackson? Is that the only player who you think? Because I don't know if I'd take Rodgers over Kyler Murray. I wouldn't take Tom Brady over Kyler Murray.
I take Brady over Kyler Murray.
In redraft,
in draft, I would take Brady over Murray, simply because I think Brady's weapons are more dependable than Murray. I mean,
even with Godwin out, he's still got Evans and now Russell Gage. Yeah, and they've got a few running backs. Yeah.
I think Gronk's going to come back at the end, so he doesn't have to do OTAs, and he doesn't have to do. He'll come back like right when the season starts, so he doesn't have to do the preseason stuff.
The disrespect to my boy Matthew Stafford.
Stafford was like, he's in the top 15, but he's not breaking any ceilings.
I'll gladly wait on quarterback and take Stafford.
Yep, same. I mean, that's what I did with Matt Ryan so many years in a row, and it paid off. And Stafford for a while when he was on Detroit. Could get him in the late rounds. You get some guys that are going to put up some good fantasy points, but they don't have the big sex appeal of like the top tier.
So a lot of times you see early in draft season is you start to see people drafting based off of last year.
Right.
And so that is going to elevate over Dak Prescott. We forgot about Dak. I would take Dak over Kyler for sure.
Yeah. Another one that's really high that's going like the 9th quarterback is Deshawn Watson, which is ridiculous because he's going to be out half the season. If
I would love it if he was playing the full year. I would take him. He'd be in my top. For sure. He'd be in my top 5 if he was playing all year.
There's no way he's playing the full year.
Didn't his lawyers kind of like
that was rough.
Like, we're kind of expecting you.
He said that most people he said most people expect a happy ending when they go to a massage parlor.
Or he said it's not illegal. He said it's not illegal to get a happy ending as long as you don't pay extra for it. It's not illegal to get a happy ending.
I guess. Huh?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if that's how it works, but interesting.
Like Deshaun should have called him up on that show and go, dude, you're fired.
He's the other call coming into the radio.
Exactly. First time caller, long time listener. My lawyer's fired because that's ridiculous. And if you see him, have you seen what he looks like? He's like this old man. You know that he's like Kraft was. When he got caught in the massage parlor. That's what it reminded me of. oh, we're going in and we expect a happy ending because that's what we did, like in the 1920s. Yay, rub a little. Yeah, but there's no. I mean, didn't Trevor Bauer? He was never. He was just accused, right? And MLB,
Yeah, he was
like
just
a year,
accused, but
a
that
year.
was
That's
that
So
was different. That was different though too. Like
yeah.
it's the
She had
same
pictures.
guidelines, but that was rough. That
Yeah,
one
I, I'm
that
that
one
one.
I
sorry.
remember reading all the reports, and that was just so many levels of messed up too, because there was a lot of like violence with it, like on top of like sexual assault and all this and that. It was yeah, domestic violence and all these threats and this and that. It was there's a reason why even if he was not guilty according to the legal system, that the MLB was like, no, you need to step away for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that if the NFL doesn't execute a stiff penalty because of the Trevor Bauer, regardless, like
Yeah.
90% of the people don't care about the intricacies of the. All they hear is 24 women have said that he was inappropriate. So if they don't give him at least 7 games, there's going to
The
be an.
the
Yeah.
only reason I would think he might get less is just simply off how the NFL has botched so many of these scenarios where it should be more, it should be a certain amount of this or that, and then it doesn't happen. The NFL is definitely the laughing stock of the leagues, if you ask me, in regards to properly
Punishment.
punishing.
I think there is a PR nightmare on the NFL side for going too light. Like we're going to be more forgiving with them going overboard than we are
Right.
going to be going too light. So I do expect an 8 to 10 game ban on Deshaun.
Easily, easily. I mean,
Yeah, should be. I mean,
so who?
I could see a full year and not be like, oh my God, that's egregious.
Yeah, and yeah. So who's going to be the quarterback in Cleveland then?
Isn't that why they brought in Huntley? Because they don't want Baker back at all.
Baker's still on their payroll.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to cut him during camps, though. I mean, I think at this point with the Baker stuff, it's more like he's just toxic for the team environment. They don't want him in the locker rooms. From everything I've read and heard, they just don't want him around at all.
So they'd rather put Hundley on the field, even though they have all these new shiny new weapons.
Yeah, yeah. I think at this point they just don't want Baker. I think he was such a buzzkill in regards to team chemistry and so many issues internally between him and other guys on the roster, where at this point they just want him out of there.
Jay, what do you say?
I think it's going to be Baker Mayfield, unfortunately.
I mean, I don't.
Zach makes a fair point, but I just think that the Cleveland Browns have expectations to make the playoffs and win. And I think that they're gonna have to do what they have to do. And everybody's gonna have to play nice.
From an entertainment standpoint, go ahead, Gladys.
I could see
Sorry.
them trading and getting with Seattle and getting Locke or someone in there, but I don't. There's no way they think they can win with Hundley. There's no way, and they have to win. I mean, if they don't win, can you? They've given Watson what 230 million guaranteed. They upped Njoku for he's the fourth highest paid tight end in the league, even though he's like the 20th best tight end in the league. I mean, there's no way you can spend all that money and not win right now.
I mean, I think from a team building, like team chemistry perspective, Baker should never come back. But I think from a entertainment perspective, I would absolutely love to see Baker come back because I'm sure we'll see plenty of articles, plenty of
Oh yeah.
Instagram posts from players, plenty of player tribune stuff where we're hearing stories. So from that perspective, I'm all for it. I'm ready to watch some chaos in Cleveland.
We always talk about these kind of things until pads get on, right? And then once pads get on, you start getting in there, you start getting training, start getting hit a little bit. I think that the guys are kind of come around. Baker Mayfield has to know that at this point in time in his career, he's a backup quarterback, and he will be a backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion.
The only way he won't come back is if OBJ goes there. That's the only way I think they won't bring Baker back. If Myles Garrett gets his wish and Beckham comes back to Cleveland, then there's no way. There's no way he could play there. All right. Jay, you're Aaron Donald. You're Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. Beep, 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 beep. Back it up. Back up that Brinks truck. Wow.
Is it all guaranteed?
It's not all of it is guaranteed. They guaranteed 65 million of it over the next 2 years. So the extension is it was a 3-year 40 million add-on to its existing contract. So it takes it up to 95 million over the next 3 years and 65 million guaranteed over the next 2 years with stipulations built into the contract for the last year that he can retire or he can take the last 30 million. So, I mean,
oh my, it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So he's the first non-quarterback, right, to make over $30 million a year. And it's a grip of money, but I can't think of a more deserving player to break that threshold for the non-quarterback. Back it up. He's backed up the truck and says, send the bill to my guy, Stan. Tell him AD sent you. Holla at your boy.
They must have. I like to think in my head they were offering 29 million per year, and that's when he threatened with the retirement stuff. And once they saw that, it went up to the average of 31.6 per year. He's like, "All right, good. I hit that 30 threshold. I'm getting paid."
We'll keep it cordial. We'll stay. We'll go 95 million instead of 100 million, just to keep it a little cordial there. I don't want to take all of the money, but I like it because what the Rams are doing. So first of all, Aaron Donald's 100% deserving of every single penny that the Rams are going to pay him. But they're also setting a precedent that they take care of their guys. And so you talk about when guys are entertaining free agency, they want to go to teams where the team is going to open up the paychecks for them a little bit. So I like it. Of course, I like it. You bring my guy back.
Rams.
Yeah, he said that his returning to the Rams was contingent on a deal that he was at peace with.
I'm sure he's going to be at peace.
He's very much at peace.
I think I could be at peace with that kind of money too.
Maybe, just maybe, right?
That kind of money is kind of unfathomable. Like, can you imagine like a Sunday or Monday going to your bank account and what is it? What is it a season? How much for one season?
30 million.
31.6 million per season is the average.
And how many months in a season?
In a season, yeah, depending on what you count in total.
So you go to your checking account and there's every Monday there's like 10 million automatic draft in there.
Look, winning.
And what do you do with that though? Honestly, what do you do with that?
I mean, think about it this way: there's 52 weeks in a year. He's making over 500,000 every week.
Man.
I think, yeah, and they get paid like teachers do. So when they're not playing, it's not like it's like a one lump sum, and then when they start playing, it's like weekly. Like I can't even imagine.
And I think it's
going to the ATM and going, oh, the 10 million just dropped. I have 10 million in my ATM account.
I think some of it, I didn't see the exact part on what of it was a signing bonus or this or that, but I know teams often do that where they'll, hey, here's this much right now, just so it affects our cap differently. I know as a Packer fan, they did that a whole bunch.
He's married, yeah.
He is?
I thought I saw him that he was married. Or he was at one point. Double check me on that. Somebody in chat will check it on that one. I mean, with the guy's a beast, right? I mean, like you start looking at the numbers. He's in all-time company. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to pay someone that much money, I agree with you. He is the most deserving non-quarterback to get that type of money. That type of money to me is just ridiculous. I mean, But then again, what did we say, Zach, before Jay came on? The Walmart guy just bought the Broncos for $4.5 billion.
Wait, what? The Broncos?
Yeah. They've been up for sale for a while.
Yeah.
4.5 billion.
And he was
Wow.
like a comer into it. Like it was Magic's group was trying. Then there was another group that I think, and I could be wrong, I think was Cronky's wife. Like Cronky, but since he can't have two teams, I think it was his wife was like funding
Because
him.
that's not a conflict of interest.
No,
I
not
mean,
at all.
if Kroenke didn't have the Rams, I would understand it because he owns most of the Denver teams already.
So, but this Walmart guy came in at the last minute, swooped in, and 4.5 billion. So he is now a Bronco owner.
So there's a one side of coin, right, where negotiations like that just come in hot and don't insult the negotiation, right, and just get right to business. So
I kind of wonder how much Magic and his group offered them. And apparently all of them, when it came out originally, Peyton Manning was in one of the groups, but apparently that's not true. Apparently every group wanted Peyton Manning to be like the face of the group, which makes sense because how are you going to say no to Peyton Manning in Denver? You're not. But I think he was like, no, I'm out. That's a lot of money. $4.5 billion.
Bronco fans have a hard time even processing that Peyton Manning spent most of his career somewhere else.
Where else? Exactly.
right. Yeah, Peyton Manning's waiting. He's saving that money for when the coach finally have to come off, because that owner is a dickwad.
He should buy the Colorado Rockies. They need a better ownership.
They don't. The Colorado Rockies, they're all about just
Money. They don't care about winning.
No, they just care about, and it's a really nice stadium too, which is really sad, but it's just one party thing after another. Just kind of, but whatever. All right. Go ahead.
I just had a terrible memory of the Monforts, or the family that owned the Rockies. The main guy in charge, I remember at one point he was writing drunk letters back to fans when they were writing angry letters to him. At one point in time a few years ago, he got drunk and he was just firing away back at him. And I'm just like, oh man, this guy's lost it over here. Like, where are we that this guy's just blasting back at the fans like, hey, this is a business or something crazy.
Only in Colorado. Only in Colorado.
Rocky Mountain High.
What's up?
I said Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah, pretty much most of the time, most of the people, which I have no problem with, but still, they started off really well. Now they just suck. They're really bad. And people still go to the games because it's just, like I said, one big party down in Lodo. So.
Oh, that one kills me. I mean, I used to work for the Rockies organization in rookie ball, and I think about half the guys on their major league roster now are guys I worked with at the rookie ball level, and it's just tough to see them all being together in such a poor result at the major league level. And some of them have individual talent, but every time they have it, they just go somewhere else.
All right, now we're going to do the rant section, which I'm pretty sure is Jay's favorite part of the whole thing. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But
yeah, I like your rant.
I know that you do. Before we do that, Jay, are you doing the Scott Fish Bowl? You're not doing it, right? You don't do the Scott Fish Bowl? Okay. Are you gonna do, Zach? You're in it, right?
Yep, I'm in it.
Are you gonna do live draft?
I was hoping so. Yeah, I signed up for it. They just keep announcing locations. I kept envisioning this idea of me boarding a plane and going to some foreign city, and then a few hours ago, Scott Fish announced that they're doing a live location in Chicago. So I guess instead of boarding a plane, I'll do like a 15-20 minute commute to a live draft.
You can still board a plane and do it somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I get to pick or how it all works with the live drafts, but yeah, I'm hoping to do a live one.
You get to pick. I think you get to pick where you go. I don't think
I hope so.
I don't think, like, for instance, if you're in LA, Jay, which you should do the Scott Fish Bowl, I'm just throwing that out there. If you're in LA, I don't think that you have to go to the LA draft, because how would they know anyway where you're from?
Yeah, that's true. You don't put your address in when you're signing up. Yeah.
Go to the Seattle one, or.
I was thinking somewhere just different than Chicago.
Yeah, I don't want to do a live draft, so I People annoy me so much that it wouldn't be pretty. I'm pretty sure I would
I
get
just
thrown.
like to travel, and I haven't got out in a while, so I'm ready to
You should go to
go
Seattle.
experience somewhere else. Yeah,
I-
Seattle.
Seattle.
That's one of the few cities I haven't been to, so
Yeah,
that
I
would
bet
be a
it's,
good one for me.
don't go to Atlanta. Too much killing there.
I've been there. Been there, done
Orlando
that.
too hot. Minneapolis. Me, I think Fish is doing the Minneapolis one himself. He's the host of it.
Mhm.
So anyway, Jay, we'll let you
Yeah,
go on the
I'm
rant.
sick and tired of flip floppy. Don't know what you want, NBA fans. Stop asking for Draymond Green to be ejected from that game. What are you guys talking about? Although I will say that I told my buddy right when the game started, I was like, I'm betting Draymond Green's going to get a technical in this game. I didn't know that he was going to flirt with two of them in the first half. But no, I don't believe that Draymond should have gotten a tech in the Jaylen Brown skirmish or whatever you want to call it. I think that's much to do about nothing. That's past reputation. Zach, we talked about that before with Draymond's reputation of being a dirty guy. That's where that came in. And I think that Jaylen Brown overreacted to that. And I think that that was just two guys, playing basketball in a championship series, talking about what they're going to do afterwards in a very animated manner. Jason Tatum's pushing the refs away. He's like, "Nah, we got this. It's cool. Go." So no, Draymond Green should not be ejected from that game. I think that the referees, part of being a ref is you have to know the situation, right? I used to ref high school ball. You have to know the situation. You don't get to hang a second tech for something trivial like that. Now, if punches were actually thrown or he actually did kick him, anything like that, then there's no excuse. Then you got to do what you got to do. But that one, play ball, let him go. We need a little bit of chippiness in that series anyway. Everybody's playing too nice.
So are you saying that people are soft now? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think that
I'm putting
NBA
words in your
fans
mouth.
are. So I think the NBA fans are constantly calling for the NBA to be harder because they think
Right.
that the NBA is soft, but then they're hypocritical when they say things like that, like Draymond should be ejected. We talked about that whole thing with the situation with the Grizzlies. With
Yeah.
that situation where they can't make up their mind what they want. Do you want more physicality in the NBA, or do you only want it when you want it for teams that you want it for?
I think it's the latter there. I think it's for my team. I mean, a lot of the times when I'm going on Twitter during the Bucks Celtics series, I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter that are Celtics fans wanting the refs to call it a certain way, but then when it's reversed, no, that's not a foul. No, they don't. They shouldn't be calling that. And I mean, that's every fan base. And yeah, it's usually just they want it one way and they want it their way. That's all there is to. I like the physicality. I agree that I don't think that second foul should have been a tech. I think the refs read the room there. They probably considered it. They identified part of it, but they were also aware of his pre-existing one from that game, and they're not going to eject him for the little skirmish, I guess we could call it. But it wasn't enough to just boot him from the game right there. And I mean, we've seen before when guys are ejected like that with a second flagrant, it can completely flip a game, flip a series. And the refs, while they like to have effects on games from time to time, they didn't want to right there.
Okay. I'm going to concede my rant time to Zach. Zach, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Mine's on a more serious subject. I know I was talking with Gladys a little bit about it pre-show, but we're a few weeks removed from it now, but the Buffalo shooting that took place, I watched the footage of it from what was broadcasted from the shooter. It's nothing that I enjoy watching or seeing, but for me it's informative from a direct perspective. And watching it was eye-opening for me. I guess I'll start off by saying, obviously I don't look like Jay or Gladys, but it's not that I don't see race, but that I don't see you as anything different than I am. We're all human. And watching that footage, I'm seeing someone that can clearly distinguish between the color of someone's skin as good or bad. And obviously, I can't completely relate to you guys. I can't completely understand that world, but I also can't understand the world of someone having such a pure hatred for someone else just based off their appearance. These aren't people that did anything to him. They aren't people that he knew. I mean, even if you hated someone specifically, to go to that extent is uncalled for, but to do that on innocent bystanders and just have such a pure hatred just based off the color of their skin, it was heartbreaking, but also eye-opening to me because I I couldn't process it. I never like to see it so clearly, you see the guy, the cashier that's white, and he in the split moment can apologize and say, "I'm so sorry," and then continue to go on a manhunt. Like, the fact that he can so clearly distinguish between friendly and enemy just like that, it was just so heartbreaking for all my peers and friends and loved ones that don't necessarily look like me because, obviously, I can't say I relate in regards to that fear going out in society, but, I mean, it makes me fearful for you guys because when you see scenarios like that where it's clearly just an attack on race, it's just so heartbreaking because these are just people living their lives, getting groceries, just doing their daily routine, and no one should feel at risk, at danger in those times, and yeah, my heart was just truly broken there because it's just a sick thing that someone would do.
It's true. And I worry about like people like Jay who have kids.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my sister's a teacher, and I could not imagine getting that call saying, "Yeah." So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
That
it's sad that it's a societal thing too, like, it shouldn't be almost imprinted from a young age that you should be fearful of what could happen when you're out just
yeah,
based off of how you look. Like I
yeah.
said, to me, like, I look at you guys and it's like, "Okay, cool, we look different, but we're the same." Like, we all operate like we have our normal lives, we have our own passions, we have the things we love and hate. That's all that matters, what's inside, and so the fact that people can make such, uh, large assumptions and such a pure hatred just for how someone looks, like, things in society need to change for the better because that's
Well,
like, no one
unfortunately,
should have to go
nothing
ahead.
new. I mean,
Yeah.
the Holocaust, the uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Native Americans. I mean, it's not something that's new. It's just
No.
that it's more prevalent now. We see it more now because of social media. We see it more now because everything is right here, right now in your face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, and I guess that's I don't wanna say appreciated because it's like that footage is so
It's horrific.
ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the takeaway I had from it was just I could actually see right then and there how someone is clearly just looking at one person this way and one person that way. Like, it was a first person perspective for me of like, wow, I never even thought that people could actually processing like, yeah, you hear people being racist and, like, all that, but to me, to actually see in that first person perspective how someone's just looking at 2 different people and seeing 2 completely different things was just, yeah, mind-opening.
Okay,
Appreciate
Jay.
your honesty, man. I appreciate your honesty with that one. That's a tough one to deal with.
I
I
mean,
appreciate you saying that, because we see race, right? I don't want anybody to look at me and say I don't see race because that would not
yeah,
be true. You look at me, you see, a black man, but it's not about seeing someone that's black or someone that's white or Latino or whatever we are. It's seeing each other for our differences and not letting that be the indicator of our judgment of that person's character.
exactly.
And
It's
that's where we got to get to, as a people. We got to share this world. We have to share the same space. All of our kids are at risk. You know, that's I saw the video of the woman who went in and rescued her two sons from
Yeah.
the Uvalde shooting.
Yeah.
She was actually handcuffed by police officers. So it's just one of those things where I don't know, man. Just it's like a lust for the guns, and these things are happening so often to where unfortunately it becomes like you get kind of numb to it, and you never want to
Yeah.
get numb to something like that.
And I hate it as like a white man when I see these shootings too. I'm like, watch, the shooter's probably going to be white again, or like I'm like, please don't be white, because I'm
Yeah.
like, this is just like, and it usually always is, but I don't understand. It's just, yeah, you get numb to it. There's so many. It feels like, yeah, every year there's another one. I mean, we've had a couple this year, but yeah, I don't want to pretend like I don't see race, but I always wish more people did this. But it's not about how you dress, how the complexion of your skin, like the dialect you speak or anything like that. It's just like I'm always judging people on what's inside. You know, what are you passionate about? What are you thinking about? Like what's your character? And that's what it comes down to. We just need to emphasize that more in society. Forget the external stuff, what's inside.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that. And
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for letting me talk about that. I know it's not a light subject.
oh, don't worry. We do light, we do heavy, we do whatever. We do whatever we need to do. Speaking of which, Scott Fish Bowl, you have until what is today? Monday? You have until Friday to get your name in if you want us to put you in a drawing for the Scott Fish Bowl. And how you do that is, Jay, we're gonna use your Facebook account. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because you can't, your Twitter's like messed up, right?
Yeah.
So all of Jay's Facebook friends that want to be in the Scott Fish Bowl, send him a message on Facebook Messenger or however you talk to him with your Gmail address, your email address, and your Twitter handle. Zach and I are both on Twitter. DM us with your Twitter handle saying that you have watched the episode and that you have liked it or retweeted it or subscribed and you want to be in the drawing for the Scott Fish Bowl. And then next Friday, we will have the cutoff date of the names. We will all get the names together. And then I guess on Kyle's show, we'll let them draw it on Kyle's show. We'll let them announce it on Kyle's show. We will do the drawing for us in the official Scott Fish Bowl hat. Wait, I can never get this right. There we go. In the official Scott Fish Bowl hat. And good luck to everyone who wants to be on. If you want to be on he's doing live drafts if you are so inclined. I personally am not. Jay, do you want to do it or no? Is your wife not going to let you get in another fantasy league?
Yeah, it's just I got a limit. I got so many new responsibilities now. It's just kind of hard.
Oh, that's right. Jay got a promotion. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we appreciate everyone who's listening. We appreciate everyone who is going to listen on a later date. Watch the College World Series. Females and males are now playing. The guys are doing their super regionals. The women will have tomorrow off. Wednesday, they will be in their finals. It will be Oklahoma against somebody. It doesn't really matter because Oklahoma's like just trouncing everyone they play.
And they just win. Didn't they win like 16-0? Like,
yeah,
didn't they?
15 the last. UCLA beat them for double elimination. UCLA beat them the first game 7-2 or something. They came in the next game and beat UCLA. I think they were just playing with them. They beat UCLA 15-1, maybe. They beat Northwestern 16-0. They had 2 grand slams. 2 grand slams in the game. They're just that good. Their offense is just that good. The chick from Hawaii, Aleo, she's just she hit a home run today that I'm pretty sure she didn't step into. I'm pretty sure it was all upper body that she just swung and it went pretty far. It went really, really far.
Yeah,
it was
get a ladies a chance, man. Get a ladies a chance. I made a lot of money on a WNBA parlay last night. Made about $50. So hey,
those ladies can ball. I've been to a couple WNBA games. Those are fun.
You can't talk about how there's no sports on when the ladies are putting it out like that. So they're balling.
Wait, what was your parlay?
Oh, it was a 5-team parlay, and
Nice.
I used the Warriors. So I took the Aces on the money line. I took the Storm, or not the Storm. I took the Dream over the Fever. I took the Sun. The Suns were underdog. Connecticut Sun were underdogs in that game, and I couldn't understand why. So I took them on to cover spread. Yeah, it was good. Real
Nice.
good.
Congratulations. I can't
Yeah.
do parlays. I don't really understand them.
I follow the WNBA. There's like heavy favorites usually, and then I always just psych myself out because I know in baseball usually the heavy favorites someone just messes it up.
Yeah,
And
so the WNBA is pretty chalk, right? So they don't
Yeah.
really venture too much away from the chalk, so it's kind of easy betting there if you spend a little time to get to know the players.
no,
I can only bet
I've
on football. I can't bet on anything else. I suck at every other bet
have
because
you
even the chalk, like, because I always want to go not by money line. I always want to go by the odds because I want to take the underdog because then I'll win more money if it
Mhm.
happens.
yeah.
Never
It's
does, but when that day comes, you guys will be the first to know because I will be like, yes. I will
Have
be.
you guys been to WNBA games at all?
No, we don't have. Denver has no
Oh
female
yeah. Yeah. How
W.
about you, Jay?
I went to
Have you,
one last year. Took my son to one last year.
did
Do
you
they
have a
like
good
it?
time?
Do they like it? Do they enjoy
Yeah,
it?
he
Or no?
likes it. He likes just being in the arena, and
Oh,
but he's starting to pick up basketball, so he liked it.
the one
I
that's good
went
at defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, Zach. What were you saying?
No, I was just going to say I went to a Mercury game down in Phoenix a
Oh,
couple years ago. I happened to have a friend that had season tickets courtside, and
mhm.
we were the two seats right next to the LA Sparks bench, and Derek Fisher was the head coach, and the line was right there, so he's just yelling at them the whole time, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And that got me hooked on the WNBA. I've been following it since.
Derek Fisher, head coach. That's sad. All right. So we will see you not next Monday. That will be Kyle's show, but the Monday after. Everyone have a safe 2 weeks till we see you again. Jay, happy anniversary. And tell your wife we
Have
said
fun in Vegas.
have fun in Vegas. Tell her we appreciate her letting you be on with us for an hour. Zach, thank you for your well thought out
Yes. Thank you.
rant. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
being on. And Zach, where can people? Are you writing yet, or what are you doing?
Not yet. No, I'm working on some stuff behind the scenes though currently. Otherwise,
Okay.
every other Tuesday with Drop the Mic FF, we're doing the fantasy cheat sheet on here, and I'm
Okay.
always making appearances somewhere else on Going for Two as
Yeah.
well, so you can see me fairly often.
He's the eternal going for two show guest going on
Yes,
here.
Hey,
and we
I got
appreciate.
the I
Always a
got the
pleasure, though, Zach.
time,
Always a
and
pleasure, man.
I'm always ready to talk about something.
And you can see me here on Monday, and also Gridiron Experts. I do articles for Rotoballer. I do articles for, and of course, Going for Two. I do articles for. So come on over, read a little, subscribe, come see the shows. We appreciate all of you guys very, very much. Thank you for listening. And again, if you want a Scott Fish Bowl, the giveaway, Gladys Tyler on Twitter, Zach.
Oh,
I know.
there we go. I got it.
And then Jay on Facebook. Thank you guys very much. Everyone be safe, all right? Bye.